live. Ladies and gentlemen, here at AmberCast, we really like talking to CEOs. Because talking to Mihai is probably one of the most popular podcasts that we have, and he's the only CEO I know. Well, now I know two CEOs. We are joined by the CEO of Nexus Gaming. He's a really cool guy. He's an esports athlete. He is one of the people behind the Romanian Esports League. They're just doing their finals today in Counter-Strike Go. He is a content creator and generally a cool guy. Ang, also known as Octav Crețu, thank you for doing this with us.
Thanks for having me. Actually, it's funny. You presented me Ang, also known as Octav Crețu. Yeah. I think that's the right way of saying it. Yeah. So, well, I'm not gonna say I'm a content creator, but let's say I help other content creators to actually create content.
But you run one of the biggest content creation teams in esports right now, right? Because this is one of the things that you guys are doing, and we'll talk about that. But I wanna stick just a bit to the fact that yes, we are slowly but surely identifying ourselves not by our given names, but by our chosen names, by digital names.
Yeah, I think it's going more and more in depth with this. Like I know actually a lot more persons that actually only get called by the nickname, so I don't think that's any weirdness in it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, we have one of my favorite artists here in Amber.
Yeah,
everybody knows him by the name of Jacama. We've known him, so his email is jacama@amberstudio.com.
That's cool. That's actually cool. That's a cool name.
Yeah, he's the coolest artist that I know, and everybody refers to him like that. So we're like, oh, also shout out Jacama. Where does your name come from? What does it stand for?
It's a great story, actually. When I was like in high school, actually not in school, in school, not in high school, I was going around the block with friends, of course, and I saw like graffiti, which had Angel Dust written on it, and I really liked that nickname. So basically, I just picked it up, and that was cool. But it was too long, So I also was a player, and I joined the team, which had a really big tag before the name. So basically, when you're joining an esports team, you need to put a tag before your name. So let's say Nexus Ang. In that case, it would have been Nexus Angel Dust, but the team name was like Team Deserto, so it was really long, and I didn't have any. I mean, I wanted Angel Dust, of course, because that was like the nickname that I wanted. Also written quite cool with capital letters and whatnot. It was like a really fancy name. But unfortunately, it was way too long. So I had to cut some letters, and Angel was a bit, I don't know. I don't think I really liked Angel, to be honest, because it's like a bit soft. And I'm a soft person, but I don't think I should have been like getting known as a soft person. So I just went with Ang because, I don't know, it's faster. Everyone can just pronounce it. And I think it's just a pretty good name overall.
Sounds cool. It sounds cool. It almost sounds cyberpunkish, and it's interesting to me. You are one of the guys, so we were chatting before going live that you were born in 1994. Did you grow up with the internet, or is it because I feel like I'm 84, so I'm kind of like transition generation, but then my sister is born in 92 and she kind of grew up with the internet, and I think this is like esports and everything that comes with internet, social media, streaming music is becoming part of our culture. So I'm not surprised that people are identifying by their names that they chose, internet nicknames, rather than original names. Did you grow up with the internet?
Frankly, when I was born up, I had a computer standing next to me. So basically, my mom said that all the time I was pretty much wanted to play on a computer with my brother as well. So I could say, yeah, I was born up with the internet. Obviously, I had the dial-up and everything. So, yeah.
Also, you found your accent. This is awesome.
Oh, I'm going to switch to it because sometimes it's getting, I mean, it's really annoying for the people. So I'll just stick to the Balkan English. I think it's better.
I like Balkan English. Is one of my
it's the best accent.
It's one of my favorites.
I will probably switch up because I'm mostly used. The story is I played in a Scottish team, so I had to adapt I had to adapt when I was 14 years old. And to be honest, at that age, it was quite hard to understand those people because they were like, I don't know. The Scottish English is absolutely beautiful, but it's really hard to understand for a Balkan guy. So I had to actually take some lessons, English lessons. I'm not even joking because it was really hard to understand. I can even do it, but it will come in this podcast for sure. Yeah, I will try to stick to Balkan English because it's the best. It makes me look stupid, I think, but I don't really care. So
I think your English is awesome, and also Balkan English is probably the best English.
It's really funny.
Did your guys go? What foot you kick?
Yeah. So to be honest, the really fun part is when I was playing like 2 years ago in a Serbian team. Whenever like the fights are getting intense or when the action is really tense, I can't control my accent because obviously I'm usually like the guy that talks a lot and helps the team with information, and that's called the shot caller or the team captain. Mm-hmm. So when it's like the battle is really fierce, I switch to my regular English, which is the Scottish one, and people don't really understand me, and we have to pause mid game so I can chill and go back to the Balkan accent. That is really funny.
Is it like muscle memory?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. And it's really hard to actually. I mean, when I'm doing it, like when I'm talking for ages, it's really hard to switch back to the Balkan one.
Yeah,
but I will try my best.
That makes
today.
sense. If that's the way you learn it, then that makes sense. You grew up, so you studied English, but let's kind of admit it, for all of us that grew up with the internet, English is something that we learned off the internet.
I mean, for sure, it's like probably the easiest language to learn.
And the most necessary. You grew up playing Call of Duty, right?
Call of Duty was actually my first game. It was, not my first multiplayer game. My first multiplayer game was actually Red Faction, which is really old. I don't know if anyone actually knows. I was like in a competition with my father because he was also playing it, and
wow, that's awesome.
We were playing on the same public server, and once in a while I was quite mad at him because he was dropping me in the Rutherford's rankings. So whenever he was playing on a server, I was like, why do you drop me from top 10? I want to be top 1 all the time. So that was I'm really competitive. You guys
were using the same ID?
Yeah, I mean, we had only one computer, so we only had one license of Red Faction because in order to play online, like regular esports online games, you have to buy a license. So we could have afforded to, but I don't think there was a point because obviously I wasn't playing that much back in those days, and obviously my father wasn't playing that much as well. So I think one license was enough for us, but he was pissing me off with that. And after that, I met a guy online who was also playing Red Faction, and he showed me Call of Duty. Actually, he showed me something else, but I actually can't remember the game. I didn't really like it. It was like Medal of Honor or 1 second. Give me 1 second.
There you go. So for the people that don't know what Red Faction is, because you were born in 2000s, Red Faction is actually one of the first shooters to have had destructible environments. It was one of the first shooters to play really competitive multiplayer on it, first-person shooters. It's funny because I think, like, don't quote me on this, but it probably came out before Counter-Strike. So before it was a big thing to play Counter-Strike, and esports really took off because esports kind of took off, not mainly, but partially due to Counter-Strike. There was Red Faction around, and it was a blast because it had destructible environment. Like you could throw a grenade, crash a building. It was fucking incredible, right? I was just educating the folks about Red Faction. I remember playing that game off a demo CD from one of the local magazines. So yeah. So yes, you went into Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty 4. That was basically that's before Counter-Strike 1 point anything.
No, I think it was actually in the same time. So I had to choose between Call of Duty and Counter-Strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I just really like the movement from Call of Duty a lot more than Counter-Strike. And I played, obviously I played 1.6. Everyone played 1.6 in the youth, But what I enjoyed the most is obviously the movement, and I think it was more competitive back at the time. The aim was more crisp. It was like more important to shoot better than Counter-Strike. And I don't think it had any luck elements. I mean, Counter-Strike doesn't have that many luck elements, but this one is like more accurate from my point of view. So I switched to Call of Duty. Obviously, I played Call of Duty 1 and 2 before, but I didn't play competitive. I was just playing for fun. But I did a change to 4 when it got released, and since then I could have said I could say I was a competitive player.
Well, there's so many people that are talking online, that are still talking online about you, about your movement. And I remember I was watching a podcast that you did with well, I don't remember the name, but you essentially were mentioning that you were one of the quickest players to move around, and that no one would. Can you go a bit into that, on how do you actually became an esports athlete? Because it's a very interesting story. I really, really like it.
So I was really young, and everyone thought that I was playing with cheats or hacking, like
how old were you?
I was 14 actually. Yeah, 13. Wow. And I had to join a team with the average age of 50 years old or something like that, just to go to a LAN event. The LAN event is basically an offline event where people come and actually show their skills, because obviously people play worse in a different environment than at home. I actually play a lot better when I'm not playing at home, because at home there's a lot of stress, and I think everyone is like, I mean, even when I was a kid, it was the same thing. I was always not feeling comfortable when I was playing at home. So whenever I was playing in different environments, I was actually playing better, and I could have focused a lot better.
But this is interesting. Is it because of the distractions, and is it something that all players are complaining about?
No. Everyone likes to play it from home, because everyone thinks it's like you have the same desk, you have the same chair that you used to. I personally don't care about the chair or the desk. I just need like to set up my mouse and keyboard in a way, and then I'm good to go.
So you go to this LAN event.
Yeah.
Where was it taking place?
I mean, it was like in an old internet cafe in Bucharest.
Okay.
And I played so well that the best team in Romania actually came to me and said, after we go to Netherlands, because they had a LAN event in Netherlands as well, you come and join us. And I was really, really happy, because I wanted to prove myself. And I actually played for them for a really short period of time, because I got kicked eventually, because I had a different.
Did you get kicked?
I have a different play style than them. So basically, I was like more of an individualist player. I didn't throw smokes, I didn't throw grenades. I was just going into the other team spawn and killing them.
So but you're a rusher.
Yeah, I'm definitely a rusher. But I'm a different type of rusher. So I'm rushing into the base, and then I'm lurking 24/7. I'm not making a noise. I'm a really calculated player.
Interesting. Because in your other podcast, you were mentioning that you weren't throwing grenades, that you didn't know how to throw.
I don't know any grenades. That's the funny part. What is actually funny is later on in my career, people were actually making special grenades for me, because I was faster than every single player, and they had to reinvent the grenades. But after every game, I was always like switching my routes, and I was always like getting a new grasp on the game. And they were like so mad, because they were preparing some grenades for my routes, but the next game I'm just doing something completely different, and they didn't know what to do against me most of the time.
So they would spam grenades wherever you were. So you'd go down one route, they'd spam grenades.
Yeah.
To the other route.
Yeah. So let's say they were throwing them like there's one standard route, and let's say the timer is 1:55 when the game starts, and they were throwing grenades standard, not against me, at let's say 1:40, and because they were playing against me, they had to throw them like 5 seconds or 6 seconds earlier. Okay, so to get back to the story.
Yeah, Netherlands.
Yeah, so they went to Netherlands. One guy had to leave the team, and I joined. And afterwards, I got kicked, and I said, I was a bit mad, I was a bit sad, because I was like always so bragging. I was like getting 30 kills, which is actually a lot, and I didn't really understand at that time why I was getting kicked. But after many years, I mean, I'm still friends with every single one of them. I'm still playing casually with them, Dota 2, where whenever we can, we meet and have like drinks and go to movies. Like we're good friends. I'm good friends with everyone from that old team. And they explained to me that I wasn't talking at all. Like I was just thinking in my head, and I wasn't communicating anything that I was doing. It was really frustrating for them. They were talking in private and like, what is this guy doing? Like, we don't understand anything. And I actually created a team with random players from all across Europe.
Well, hang on. You were creating a team. So by this time you were at 14, 15?
Yeah, like 14 and a half, 15, something like that.
14 and a half, you were already making your own team. Okay.
Yes,
like, wow.
Because I got kicked and I was really mad. So, and we got in the same cup as the Romanian team, which was called Maniacs, and we actually beat them 13-2, 2 times on 2 maps. And then the guys PM me and like, what the fuck did you do, man? How did you beat us so hard? And I said, by not talking. And they were obviously mad. And I think that was the best performance for me personally, because with this team, which I built in 1 month, we actually got invited to pre-invite. Pre-invite is actually top 15 Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there, we played against Fnatic, which was probably one of the best teams in the world. I mean, it still is one of the best teams in the world. And we beat them 13-11. And as I said, I had random players and no one knew anything about us. And everyone was like talking about this team and how did it created and what's going on with them.
So can we take a break on this one, because I'm really curious. You mentioned that you made the team in a month.
Yeah.
What does a we know from sports that it takes a while until you build the team, until everyone understands how to play with the other guy, until they kind of build they go through performing and performing, right? And that usually takes a while, especially for traditional sports teams. I'm curious, how does it work? Like, do you guys do practice runs? Do you meet? How many times a month do you meet?
So after getting kicked, I was like, as I said, I was mad but sad at the same time. But mad because I had to do something. So basically, I was waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, going through recording of other games, and then I had a huge notepad document on my computer. I think I still have it because I have my old hard drive. And I was like, for every single map and every single side, so one time you attack, one time you defend, I made like a perfect, from my point of view, obviously, a perfect strategy for each map and each player. So I was like saying 145, one player goes there, throws that grenades, throws that smoke, then goes into A, goes into those positions. And obviously I made like positions for every single player, like 4 or 5 positions per every side, because in this game, it's really important to not be in the same position every time, unless it works. Like my thinking is, if it works, you don't change. So let's say we were on attack and we were pushing A. We were always pushing A if it works. I don't care. I'm not going to switch the strat. And obviously, we're also saving strats for important games. So if we were playing against, let's say, a bad team, we would have never did like the hard strategies that we have prepared. So yeah, I started recruiting players and I started putting them in those positions, and I did a lot of tryouts, and I don't know, I think I had like 30 people trying out for this team.
Wow.
And I was so keen on those positions, and I really thought they were probably the best, and they after all these years they're still used. People still play Call of Duty. I mean, there are like 4 or 5K people still playing it. I even played it like 4 months ago in a cash cup.
My friends still play it. Yeah, I know. It's still a huge game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. And the same positions are still used. So I'm really proud of that. I mean, obviously, I'm not the inventor of those positions, but I'm happy that some of those positions were actually invented by me or found, and they're still being played. That's funny.
That's kind of amazing. But how does it work? Do you guys? So you were mentioning earlier on that you would wake up 6 a.m.
Yeah.
You were in high school at this point.
Yeah.
You'd wake up 6 a.m. You'd study
Go to
other
school.
Players. You created the strategies, and is this something that people do, or is it something that you put together?
No, I think that was like my own invention. I don't think people were that keen. I mean, obviously the pro teams, probably Fnatic, had analysts and coaches that were doing that for them, but I was only 14 and we had no resources in Romania in order to have a coach and analyst, so I had to do it all by myself.
Because you were basically the coach and the player of the team and the captain of the team.
I think like 80% of the teams I was actually doing this role, because I think this is what drives me, and I think this is like the best role for me.
Yeah, it's a leadership role. That makes sense. So
Okay, so to continue, sorry, I'm
yeah.
obviously
Keep going, keep going. This is good.
after going to school, I was coming home playing deathmatch. Deathmatch is like playing against all other players to secure crisp aim. Um, and then playing with the team, going for tryouts, playing games, and then later at night I was watching the demos from the recordings of our games to see who's actually the best player. And I think in 2 weeks I only picked up 2 players, which was, I mean,
Wow.
it was really hard for me to pick them up. But the funny story is we had one league, and it was like I only had like 2 more days to pick up one player, so I just went on random.org and picked up from a pool of 6 players. Just went with one guy. Okay, we'll play with this guy. Doesn't matter if he's good or not. We don't have any more time. And actually, it proved that that guy wasn't that good, but he did his part. Like we placed him in, I don't know, easy positions, so to say. He was more of a support player than carry, so to say. So it went okay. But I think I trolled back in those days because I was playing a lot more games. I mean, I wasn't only playing Call of Duty. I actually started playing, I don't know, I was playing Dota, League of Legends, a lot of games while also playing Call of Duty. And I actually got an offer to play Dota for a team. And that team, that foreign team actually got disbanded because of me, because I was also playing some other games, and actually went into Dota for a really short period of time, but I signed a really bad contract for me personally.
Yeah.
And after we failed to qualify for the international, which is the biggest Dota event, I quitted. I quitted Dota because I had to play for that French team, because I was in a French team with 4 French players. I actually learned French as well just to play with them.
Wow.
And because of that contract, we because of the contract, I actually had to quit Dota as well, because I couldn't play for that French team, because actually the contract was a bit of a scam. We were getting like 20% of the prize pool, and the work was getting 80%. So there was no motivation for me to play. And I told that guy, the manager, that I'm not going to play Dota 2 again. And I actually haven't played Dota 2
So
again.
I have a question. How does one jump from playing online shooter to Dota? It's pretty different games. Like in-game development, we look at them as totally different player archetypes. So one is strategy and tactics. The other one, it's mostly a Twitch game. Call of Duty, and it's action game. How do you transition from one to the other?
To be honest, I don't know. Like I played a lot of games. Like whenever I was starting a game, I just wanted to get rank 1 or really high in the ladder and then quit it. Or I mean, I don't know, quit it. But if I really like the competitive scene, I would stick to it. I also played like Heroes of the Storm, and I was rank 1. And because of me, Raynor got. I was only playing Raynor because it was really good, and because of me, it got not buffed, nerfed.
Got debuffed. Yeah, got nerfed.
Yeah. It was really funny because I knew it was because of me, because I was like 24/7 playing, and I was saying all the time, this guy is way too overpowered, and no one was playing it because everyone said like, how can you play that character? It's so bad. And like, no, this is the best character in the game, I promise. And it actually got nerfed. And for me personally, it was really funny because there are obviously websites where you can see the win rate, and it was like at 40% win rate or something like that, something similar to that. And obviously people are not going to nerf a 40% win rate character. They're going to go for the 60% ones or 70% ones. They will never nerf the 40%.
Yeah.
And after it got nerfed, I just quit the game because I was like, why do you nerf a 40% character? And then I was also playing Battlefield. I don't know, I played a lot of games. Overwatch. I won an Overwatch event in Romania. Overwatch Arena, ESL Arena. It was really funny because it was a final. It was best of 5, and we actually won every map in like 1 or 2 minutes.
Wow.
So we kind of decimated the other team. It was really funny for me.
Does the fact that you study a lot of recordings, is this something that everyone does, or is this
No.
setting you apart?
No. I mean, I also have a Counter-Strike team, and they're not doing. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect as an individual player or gamer or whatever, but I have some experience with this, and I'm saying if you're watching like 2-3 hours of recordings every day, I think this is the best thing you can do. But they're like studying I mean, obviously you need to practice in Counter-Strike because you need to aim to be on the really next level in order to secure wins against top teams. But I think they're only doing like one VOD review, video on demand. That's what, sorry, one VOD review per week. And if I was in that team, I would have probably watched like 8 or 9 video VODs recordings every week, to be honest.
So it's huge because you are essentially, are you studying specific players or are you studying the player that you're going to be up against, or both? Because
I'm studying specific players.
Specific players, and then do you go and emulate? And here's why I'm asking, because in sports, drilling is everything, right? So you learn the technique, you see it, you try to reproduce it.
Yeah.
And once you can do it 100%, then you start drilling it, and you drill it for fucking ever until you can do it with your eyes closed.
I think the most important thing is to understand why that player does that thing, you know? So you can drill it or you can practice it 24/7, but if you don't understand why he does it, it's useless. I think that's the most important thing in watching recordings, and it's available for every game, and I think for every sport. If you don't understand or you don't comprehend why that guy does that, so let's go for soccer, whatever. You watch Cristiano Ronaldo, he's doing the free kicks, whatever, in his style. But if you don't understand why he's doing in that style, it's just useless to reproduce it. You can, let's say you can practice it for 7 days, you know, but 7 days a week. But if you can only make it in official soccer games, only, let's say 2 out of 10 times, it's useless. You do it, it's really useless.
So I think this is important because it's team games that we are talking here, and you kind of have to be synchronized with everyone else. So if you're doing your thing, but it's not useful to anyone, it's useless. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. How many trainings a week?
When I was playing Call of Duty, or every day, the grind never stops. Yeah. So I missed a lot of events. Like I missed birthday parties. I missed my birthday party. But I was having fun. But I wasn't like, I was really popular in high school and also in school as well. I was a really funny kid. I was always making like good jokes, mostly because I was like, whenever I was home, I was still socializing with people. Like people say the gamers are not social, but that's not true, man. Like most of the gamers that I know, at least, they're really funny and they're really nice characters in real life as well. I mean, every single teammate that I had in Call of Duty, in Romania at least, now has like 2 or 3K euro salary, and they're all super smart. Like 2 of them are doctors, let's say, like super small individuals.
How many people do this for a living right now? Like really making a living
in Romania?
In Romania,
I would say like around 16.
16. Wow,
yeah,
that's emergent, but I know worldwide it's a lot better. I mean,
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Romania just started developing. So when I was first doing the Romanian Esports League season 1, I mean, actually, I'm not going to talk about season 1 because it was a test. It was a really short one. Let's say season 2. We only had like 2 teams that was salaried. I mean, getting paychecks for playing in Rail. And now this season, all 10 teams actually received some money from their organizations teams. So I think what we did with Rail is actually raise the esports scene a lot better and a lot faster than the regular industry actually raises in Romania. Because when I first started this project, I think that back then, in the past 6 months, there were like only 1 or 2 projects per year, for at least for the Counter-Strike scene. And I was watching my team, and they were so hungry to play, and they had nowhere to play. And I was like, why doesn't anyone do anything in this country? I was wondering, and they were doing them so wrong. Like, obviously they had like 500 viewers, which is not good for sponsors. Obviously, like who wants 500 viewers at a huge event where you invest 10K euros or something like that? And I was like, I actually brought the idea to actually raise some influencers and get some influence to the events to just boost the event and to actually have viewership. And after all those, I mean, it wasn't that bad. We were actually doing this for 2 years. I'm taking this. I'm talking about this like doing it for years, but I'm not. And after all those 2 years, we actually managed to get the Romanian esports where it should be, because we have really good teams and we have really good players, but they don't have the conditions to play. I'm actually having fun because of this, because I played for a while for no money, you know, and I was it's funny for me personally because I was obviously a kid and I got to top 10 Europe with like literally zero money or salary.
It's crazy because the industry worldwide is almost a billion. Well, I think it's more than a billion. No, worldwide it's bigger than a billion. So the sport the sports industry is 1.3 trillions, if I'm not mistaken. I googled that
Yeah.
super fast, and then the esports is a couple hundred billions, but that's huge. But I'm assuming that Korea skews it a lot.
Yeah.
Japan skews it a lot. US probably skews it a lot. What's it like in Europe?
I'm actually gonna go a bit with about Korea because I was in Korea for I think 3 or 4 years ago when I was playing League of Legends.
Wow. Okay.
For the World Championship between countries. And the funny part is I was going at the internet cafe. I was still a try hard. Like it doesn't matter. I was in Korea. I was still playing the game, and there were
Hang on.
people.
What's a try hard?
A try hard is the guy that let's say you're traveling for the first time in a country, and I'm still going to the internet cafe to practice because tomorrow I have a game.
Okay. Okay.
Most of the players actually came there and like went in vacation, you know. But I'm not the type of person. I'm not that type of person.
So you're coming up esports athlete.
Yeah, I mean, I was younger. I would still do the same. Like, I don't care. I'm going to Korea. I'm still gonna play. So people were coming to internet cafes, which were like, I don't know, every corner there's one internet cafe. I'm not joking. Like every time you turn, there's a PC bank sign, and it's gonna have 100 computers, and all are gonna be full. And people were coming from work with suits, and they had like a wardrobe at the entrance, and they would just leave the suit and go to the computer and play. And I actually asked one guy, like, why do you come to the internet cafe and play? Why don't you play at home? Oh, but it's more fun here because there are a lot of people and we're socializing. And to be honest, it was super fun to actually watch people. And I'm not talking about 20-year-old people. I'm talking about 40, 50, 60-year-old people. And obviously on the streets, everyone was playing on their phone. Like no one was watching you. I mean, now in Romania it's better, but in the past, if you were playing on your phone in the tramway or in the subway, for instance, everyone was like, "Why are you playing on your phone?
What are you doing?
Please hold the bar and be there." I mean, but in Korea it was like a different personality. So sorry, what was the question I got?
We were discussing how much Korea skews the industry, but I'm actually interested in something else. So you mentioned this that you played as fast as you got there. You mentioned that you missed a lot of parties as you were a kid.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you have the work ethic of an athlete, essentially.
Yeah.
How much in average does one spend practicing?
I think in average, like I'm gonna talk about pro players. Obviously, they're going from 6 hours to 12. Depends on the player or on his work ethic. Per day. And obviously,
that's crazy.
They have one free day. Like every esports professional team gives one free day for the players.
That is crazy. So because in sports you get like 4 to 6 hours of practice, but then you have to sleep. Sleep is super important for recovery. 12 hours, that's huge. It's crazy.
Depends on the player. I mean, the Korean ones practice for 12 hours. Like European ones practice for 6 to 8. Maybe let's say 6 to 10. 6 to 10. There are some teams that actually practice a lot more.
Wow. It's hard work. It's ridiculously hard work.
Yeah, but for most of the guys, this is not work, you know? It's like a dream come true, or let's say a hobby. I never, when I was playing, I never had like a bad feeling about why I'm doing this, because it didn't feel like work. It still doesn't feel like work what I'm doing right now. So yeah.
Do something that you love and it will never feel like work. But what about injuries? Because like you see this in sports, people do it all the time, and I would assume that like any activity that you do repeatedly for a long period of time will get injured. It's like there's no way around it.
Obviously there are a lot of injuries, like you have like hand injuries. Yeah, like 90% of the people have this, but 90%, sorry, that was a really bad percent. Let's say 40%, 30% of people have this, but it all depends on how you place your mouse and how do you stay with your hand on the table. Obviously back problems because you're sitting on a chair all day.
Yeah.
But it's not that, I mean, it's not like in sports you cannot get injured that hard, you know. Like
well, it's not as
you can't break your hand or your leg. It's manageable. I think it's manageable for sure.
12 hours per day, that is ridiculous.
I mean, the monitors actually evolved because back in the days you didn't have like blue lighting protection or an LCD to actually protect your eyes. So back in the day, obviously you had problems with your eyes, but nowadays all monitors have like the blue lighting protection or whatever protection you need in order to not wear glasses because you're staying too much in front of the computer. So I think the gaming nowadays is actually more safe than 10 years ago.
That is crazy. So 222 million esports enthusiasts. So I'm assuming crazy amounts of pro players. Let's get into like let's get into how does one become an esports player? You were mentioning that you started attending events, you built your own team. What's next? What does your career look like?
I'm gonna think about it. So after quitting Call of Duty, finally, I played for some really good teams. It was really fun. I visited a lot of countries. Actually, that one I liked a lot. Like when I was actually a bit older, I was really enjoying socializing with people from all around the globe, because I also went to an international event where a US team came, and I think it was really fun for me. Like I even started really liking the social part. I was going to beer with everyone before the event. I think in total I visited around like 12 countries in my Call of Duty career, which was pretty nice for my age. The first time I left Romania was at 14 when I actually went to Italy, and I actually wanted to go even earlier, but not everyone from that team was 18 years old. So back in those times, you had to get a stewardess or another guy which was 18 in order to leave the country. So I was waiting for my friend, my good friend Vlad, who's still friends with him, to get 18 so I could leave the country in order to play international events. And after he actually got 18, we visited Italy, and we got like a really good place there. We got 5th place with 3 Italians and 2 Romanians in the team. Good mixture of players.
5th place in Europe.
Yeah, with the same with random players. That was like my quest to get not bad players but random guys and to turn them into really good players.
Wow.
And after a few years of playing Call of Duty, because it's way too much to talk about that, I actually, a friend of mine, a real life friend of mine, came at my house with a laptop and said, bro, let's try this game. It's League of Legends. It's really cool. And it's like, nah, I'm not playing that. I play Dota 2. I'm a man. And said, yeah, but you can't play Dota 2 anymore, because he knew about my problem with the contract, and said, yeah, I know I can't play Dota 2. Yeah, just try this game, man. It's really good. And said, yeah, sure, let's try this game. And he was like, how are you playing this good? And I said, I told you, bro, I played Dota 2. It's the same game. No, it's not. It's really complicated. And yeah, sure, it's really complicated. And I actually liked it. And basically Activision, which was the producer of Call of Duty that producer of that game, said that he's not going to invest anymore in Call of Duty 4. And I said, like, this game will die soon, so I'll have to switch to something. And actually started playing more serious League of Legends. And I created a team again with random players from Romania. Absolutely no one knew about them. I searched for them on forums because I knew no one back then. When I was playing Call of Duty, I was using like a similar tool like Discord, but it was only for Call of Duty players. And I couldn't find anyone who plays League of Legends there, because obviously they were using like a different type of they were using Skype, but I wasn't using Skype. I was familiar with it, but I wasn't using it. I started playing, searching for players. I managed to get a team, and only in 1 month we became the best team in Romania. And people were like, who are those guys? Like, where are they coming from? And obviously everyone was flaming me because I was the lowest rank in the team, but I just started playing it. And I had a really good grasp on that game, on League of Legends. And I instantly switch some players, make some changes, and actually I made some presentations in order to join a Romanian organization. But the funny story is I was sending them on Dropbox, and I was always checking check when it's downloaded, notify me my email.
Yeah.
And then I was PMing the team managers or team owners and asking them, did you like the presentation? Did you? Yeah, really good.
So you were, I'm going to interrupt you for a bit. You were essentially pitching.
Yeah.
You were pitching, and were you pitching for budget? Were you pitching for what? Sponsorship? What were you pitching for? Were you pitching for to be part
to join the organization?
Wow. Okay.
But
it sounds like, because it sounds like a business. I mean, if you already go into pitching and you have to kind of think, it already sounds like a business. It's no longer about just something you do for a hobby.
I mean, we were playing with a random name, and because I had a history in Call of Duty, and I got used to people paying for transport and hotel when I was traveling to events. I wanted the same for League of Legends. I know I was just started playing it, but it's not gonna be that expensive to travel in Romania. It's like super cheap, and also the hotel. So I wasn't expecting like the big bucks. I was just expecting like a small payout for playing, but Romania wasn't ready for that, and I was like, holy moly, like no one in Romania pays for anything. I was like, what's going on here? Like I was playing for random teams from Italy who were paying like a small salary, like 300 euros, 400 euros, and they were also paying for transport and hotel. And in Romania, they weren't paying anything, and they weren't even paying for the taxi to go to the event. I was like, what is going on? So
it's a miracle that the team is growing, because people in that team just do it for hobby, fame.
Yeah, for hobby and for the small prize pool that are in Romania. So how
big is the prize pool? What like your average event? How big is the prize pool
right now, or when I was playing
in Romania? And then what's it like worldwide?
I think that right now the average prize pool in Romania is like, I think 5k euros. We managed to raise it to 5k. That's really good
for a team of 6 that also have to pay transport, and they also have to pay their,
most of the tournament organizers now are paying themselves the transport and the hotel.
Okay, but it's still not much.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Decent, but it's not much. Yeah. But you guys are doing a esports event right now. We should talk about that, because you actually put together the Romanian Esports League. That's mostly you guys are running a Counter-Strike event right now. Are you gonna go European at some point? What's the plan? What is it, and what's the plan right now?
So I'm gonna finish this first story, and then I'm gonna go through everything, because this is like connected for me. So because no one actually responded to they responded to my emails. They said the presentation is really cool, but no one actually downloaded it, and I felt like really bad because I actually worked a lot on that presentation. I didn't have like the skills that I have now. It took me like, I don't know, 3 days to create the presentation, to take the photos, make the graphics. I still have it somewhere. It's really funny. It doesn't look that bad. Surprising enough, doesn't look
looking
that bad.
Back on it.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. And I said, okay, I'm just gonna create my own organization. I don't really care. So I was back then working at the online newspaper, IT newspaper, just for a hobby. Obviously, I wasn't getting paid. It was really a hobby, and I was like really enthusiastic to test every single peripheral that appeared. So I had access to every single new mouse, keyboard, and so on. For me, it was like, I don't care. I'm not getting paid. It's really fun. And I said, I talked to that guy and said, man, I'm just going to play for WSD. That was the name of the newspaper, which is still active right now. And I said, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I said, I'm going to contact sponsors actually, and I'm going to ask for things. And said, yeah, go ahead. Like, no one has sponsors in Romania anyway. And I managed to get a deal with Logitech, which helped us with peripherals. And actually that guy from Logitech, like the guy that was working back then, paid from his own money, not from Logitech's money, because Logitech didn't approve, they didn't have a marketing budget back then for teams, esports teams. Paid from his own salary, helped us with the bootcamp. Like I had a friend back from Call of Duty who rented me his house for free because I was a good friend with him. And we did a bootcamp. It was the first bootcamp in Romania, like a really good setup bootcamp with training. And we also brought a coach from Netherlands. And we prepared for event back then. And what I really enjoyed what I really liked about the guy, he actually came by every 3 days and bought us groceries from his own salary. For me, it was, I always remember that guy, like why would you pay from your salary? Retarded,
Yeah.
it was really nice of him. So after that, the team disbanded because everyone received like an offer from better teams, and obviously I didn't have the salary to provide them, so they just left. And Nexus, I heard about Nexus. They called me actually to help them with computers, because after obviously writing about IT and peripherals and technology, I was really in debt with computers, and they had a really bad offer on the computers, and they said, why are you buying those computers? Because they're not going to last. They're going to be really bad. I still remember the configuration. It was like a E5 with GTX 950. And I said, don't buy those. I mean, the 950 is really bad. Don't buy 950. Really, just buy like a 4460 and the GTX 960, and it's gonna be a lot better. And he said, no, it's not gonna be better. Then please don't argue with me. I'm gonna bring two computers, one with 950 and that CPU, and one with 960 and that CPU. I'm gonna show you it's like 2 times better. Okay, sure. And I went to that IT company. I'm not gonna say its name because it's still active in Romania. Yeah. And I proved them that it's like 100 more FPS, and they shut up, and we bought the computers that we needed. And the boss, I mean the big guy from Nexus, was really happy and said, oh my god, you're so smart, please join us. And I was not interested because I was playing League of Legends, and I don't know. I don't know what I was doing at that point. I just gotten into university. I didn't really need. I was working. Sorry, I forgot. Besides working for WSD, I was actually working for Lukoil. Lukoil is like an oil company. I was doing like design and website development for them.
Yeah.
And I said, I already have a job. I don't want to go and work for Nexus. What should I do there? And the funny part is, I was invited to play in a not League of Legends, in a Call of Duty event, and I had people from all across Europe, and we wanted an organization to represent us, so to pay for our travel and accommodation. And I was searching, I couldn't find anything because the game was already dead. And I actually came to Nexus, to Alexandru, and asked him, hello, can you pay us travel? And he said, yeah, sure, but I only have one condition. And I asked him, what condition? If when you come back from Belgium, because it was in Belgium, you're gonna have to work for us. And I said, okay, sure. So at that time, I actually had 3 jobs in the same time. Lukoil, Nexus, WSD, and still a player. And when I came back, I had to go through the part, and I actually got hired by Nexus. And after a while, I said, okay, I'm working at Nexus. I will just create Nexus organization and pray that maybe we can do something here. So the story is, I created Nexus org with the League of Legends team that I had back in the days. We won everything in League of Legends. Not a single competition we lost. I mean, obviously the small ones where I didn't care, or the team that didn't care, we didn't play like 100%. We lost some, but after like 1 year of getting like really mature and a really good team, we didn't lose a single event. Like I think we won like 15 or something similar events in a row in League of Legends back then with Nexus. So
we're talking international events. We're not talking
also both local, international and local.
Yeah.
And back then it was really hard. Like we had a sponsorship. I'm not gonna say the name of the company that was giving us for 3 months like 600 euros, and I was like, that's really funny, But we did the deal. Like, yeah, sure, we're gonna go with this deal. There was nothing else back then in Romania. Like people were not understanding esports or gaming in general. It was really hard to pitch or to create presentations in order for them to understand. Like the presentations I had to obviously do them smaller because people don't really read 12 pages. You had to go with 7 pages, something like that. And in the first 2 or 3 slides of the presentation, which were also, by the way, I was like, I was really try hard because I was obviously doing the design by my own because I was a graphic designer back in the day. So I was doing them like they were really nice looking. I'm still looking back at them, and then I really enjoyed the design that I was doing back in the day. And in the first 2-3 slides, I had to explain what is gaming, what is esports, what is a game, why do you invest in esports, what's marketing in esports, why do you have a fan base, and so on. And now it's easier because after all those years of, I don't know how many presentations I did. I think I'm close to 1K presentations, to be honest.
Wow.
Right now.
Wow.
It was a really harsh period for me to find sponsors 5 years ago. But we managed to get like HyperX and DX Racer. I'm not sure how much was HyperX giving back then, but I think The last deal we cut with them, I think it was like maybe 1K per month, which was huge.
Is this where your money, because I would assume that you have to pay salaries, right? And you have to pay for your business. Is this where generally where the money comes from? Is it sponsors, or is
Yeah,
it?
it's even right now, like Nexus is like getting like money from for the esports team. Like we have right now, Nexus is divided in 3 divisions. So we have like the internet cafe / the production, which is basically the same stuff. So I'm gonna go with the flow. Actually, I'm gonna go with the story back in. So we started as internet cafe, then we turned into an internet cafe plus esports organization. Then I started thinking about getting some streamers and influencers, because I thought back in I'm talking about 5 years ago. I was thinking about why don't we like get or create our own streamers, because I think this is like the go-to process. You need to go all in this industry. You can't just go on so let's say if you were only an internet cafe right now, we would have been bankrupt, or because of the COVID, obviously.
Also it doesn't scale. It's super hard to scale.
Yeah. So I was like thinking about getting into a lot of domains of activity. And after creating, I mean, we didn't really create a robot to stream, but we guided a guy to start streaming, and from 10 viewers he was going to 30 viewers, and from 30 viewers going to 100 viewers. And I told him, man, just don't give up. I know you're not making any money right now. You're obviously doing this for free or for a hobby, because he wasn't getting donations, he wasn't getting anything. Like he was obviously doing it for free. He said, but I'm not gonna give him money. It's like really fun. Yeah, but one day it's gonna be a day. You're gonna have a day, and you're gonna just quit everything, because let's say 1 year has passed. You can't pay your rent. You're gonna have to decide if you're gonna do this full time or not, and you have to do it now, because then when the time will come, you will quit. I will tell you, because I was a streamer as well. I got to a point where I was like 500 viewers on Twitch or 400 viewers on Twitch. And I really, this wasn't for me, like to keep a clean schedule.
Sure, it's difficult work, but I want to get back to I'm going to interrupt you for a bit, because I want to go back to your business model. It's really, really interesting to me, and I think it's smart, because you are scaling digitally, and truth be told, there's never going to be enough influencers. There's never going to be enough, like no company can bring enough views to their products. So you are actually you are scaling up in a very, very smart way, especially if you right now have the ability to create one person, like one influencer from scratch, and grow them. I mean, marketing agencies have been doing this for a while, and it was about time that someone came into the gaming space with
I don't think like regular marketing agencies create influencers or guide them as the way as we do.
They pick them up. They don't guide them.
Yeah,
they don't grow them. They pick them up.
They just put them in a group, in a WhatsApp group, and they said, so this is a deal for you. This is a deal for you. Whatever. I know how agencies work, but we're different than an agency. We're more like a family here. I'm brainstorming for every one of them. Like whenever they are back, they lack ideas or they need something new, they just come to me at Nexus or at my home, and we just sit on a chair and we discuss about what's going on the internet, on YouTube. And I'm giving them ideas, they're giving me ideas, we're mixing them up, and boom, it's gonna be your next 12 videos written on a piece of paper. That's how I roll, at least. And I'm not gonna say about our commissions or how we're doing this, but I can say that in the first 2 years of our gaming agency, so to say, we had 0%, zero fee. So we were doing this for free. Right now, trust me, it's really low. Like,
yeah, but you guys are investing.
It's a hobby.
You guys are investing. As you grow the community, it's only going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And you are the first movers in this. So you will have known the market better than anyone else. Unless, is there anyone else doing this outside of Romania? I know in Romania no one's doing it.
The thing is, our policy is different. People are doing it for money. We're not doing anything for money right now, because how can I say? This is a hobby for me. This is a hobby for Alexandru, who is the investor of Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we're getting paid and we're getting some money now, but
Mm-hmm.
this has always been a hobby, and this has always been our passion to grow esports and gaming in Romania.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a different mindset than everyone else. At least that's my point of view. Like I'm
It's
not doing
growth
this for money.
mindset. Yeah, it's
I'm
growth mindset. It's super important because you're not doing it for what you're getting today. You're doing it
yeah.
for the potential over the next few years.
What I wanted to say actually is that I will have a kid someday, not now, obviously. When I will have a kid, I would want him to play in a Romanian organization and to actually have a decent salary. I don't want him to be like me, to have to work 2 jobs at the same time in order to be able to pay and play. I mean, pay for your own things. I think we can go in a couple of years, we can be like on the same level as Germany or the rest of Europe, where you can just play and focus on your game, not have to work and play, because nowadays, like all the pro gamers from Romania have to work. And it's really, I know how stressful it is. Like, it's really hard to come back from work and play try for 4 more hours. You can't have your brain doesn't function like that. Your brain only works 100% focused for 3-4 hours a day. You can't. You will just have a breakdown.
Yeah, I know for sure, man, because it's intense intellectual activity. You need your brain. You need your brain capacity. And if you've worked 8 hours and you go back to work for another 4 hours, that is huge. That is crazy. But I wanted to ask, is the culture, what is the culture here in Europe? Is it are people starting to understand what esports is all about? Because
Yeah, I
you were
think so.
mentioning Korea earlier on, but what's it like in Europe?
I think okay, so when I was playing League of Legends, I had to discuss with parents all the single time, like what's a boot camp? Why does he have to come to Bucharest? Why does he have to go to a LAN event? And nowadays, like we even do like player profiles where we talk to the parents of the kids that are playing. And actually their parents know about Rel, ESEA, gaming, Counter-Strike, and I'm so amazed because I haven't spoken to a single parent in like 2 years, and I'm really happy. So people, I mean, even grown-ups now understand what gaming is, that it's really trendy right now. And I think we went mainstream with it a couple of times in the past few years. Like we did a lot of we started doing, like, from my point, I mean, from gamers point of view, retarded stuff. So I invested in Hush. I actually don't know the abbreviation name. Wait, I'm gonna check it out.
Hush.
Yeah, it's out of home advertisement. So
Okay.
like banners on the street, banners in subways.
Yeah. Outdoor marketing.
Yeah, outdoor marketing.
Yeah.
So people actually started. I was on the subway once, and people were talking about what is Rel, like why is it the Rel commercial here? And I was like laughing and turning my back and saying, "Oh my god!"
But you guys have the banners, because I keep seeing them, the banners and the big panels. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, eGaming just made it huge. Like, it's in my neighborhood.
We bought a lot of them. Like for 2 months, we had in every single subway station Rel commercial every 2 minutes. For me, it was really funny. Like,
that's awesome. You're changing the world as we know it. You're essentially bringing eyes to the community. That's huge.
You know what the funny part is? The funny part is a lot of esports players and team owners and organizers were like, why are you so retarded and you're investing in this? Because you don't understand, man. It's really hard. And obviously we went for radio as well. So I'm not listening to radio, me personally, but after talking with those guys, I was actually listening every day. It was really funny for me to hear every half an hour the discussion about Rel, like the commercial.
Are you doing any work with the universities? Are you doing any work with schools?
I have a lot of projects prepared, and we're gonna do like really soon some of those projects. We started doing like esports corporate championship right now, which is like a regular esports championship, but with corporations. And to be honest, like the guys from corporate are 10 times more organized, and they're always on time. Like they know esports players are like, if you have a game at 18, they come at 8:30, so you have to stall time, talk to the shoutcasters, to guys, you have to talk a lot more. But esports corporate, oh my god, like if they have to play at 18, they're ready at 70. I'm not joking, every single day. And it's really funny for me.
Well, I would assume the fact that they're grown-ups and that most of them already work 9 to 5 jobs and they have a schedule kind of helps with that.
Yeah, it
But
helps.
I'm curious, what's the average? Like, what's the average in age for esports players? Because I'm
For
assuming
professionals, I think 20, but like
20,
the right age right now is 16 or 15.
16. I couldn't make it to school on time, let alone make a esports game.
The generation has changed. I mean, or get players that we picked up for Nexus. Doesn't matter what sports or what game. They all started like 115 or that's when we picked them up, because that's when you see his talent, and
Mm-hmm.
after talking to him for a bit or after seeing him play, you can clearly understand if his brain is made for esports or for gaming. Like
Mm-hmm.
after he's playing a 1 versus 3 situation, and after seeing how he's playing it, you can tell for sure that that guy is a smart person.
What are you looking for in there? What's the profile? What are you looking for?
Me
We know what you
personally,
look for in an athlete, but what do you look for in an esports athlete?
I'm actually looking a lot on how he's playing the situation or the game, because I know for sure that one smart play in the game is obviously going to be smart outside of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Every single guy that I knew who is smart in the game is so smart outside the game, it's unreal. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you would have met all my friends that are smart in the game, he's gonna be like, yeah, he's smart for sure in real life.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna say like 8 out of 10 people that they played with who are smart in the game now are working at big corporations or big or have their own cabinet,
Mm-hmm.
doctor cabinet right now. So I don't know. I
I would
think
assume,
it's
because
really
you were
important.
mentioning something caught my attention. You mentioned that in your early career you weren't talking to anybody and you got kicked
Yeah,
out of your team.
yeah,
So I would assume that it's not only the ability to problem solve, which is essentially IQ, and games are problem solving per se,
yeah.
but it's also soft skills, right? You have to be a team player. You
I'm
have to
still not
know
talking while
how to.
playing. Don't worry. Like when I'm playing shooters, I'm still not talking because even at my, I mean, I'm not that old, but I don't have. I'm not playing 8 hours a day.
But
I'm
are you
playing like,
kidding me? You're what? You're 26?
yeah, but I feel
Please
really,
call yourself old.
I
Come on.
feel old, man. I feel old. When I'm
And you're
watching
26. Stop complaining.
when I'm watching the 16-year-old kid playing Counter-Strike in my team, I feel old. Trust me. I feel very old.
Yeah. Back in the day we had kids. So back in the day I started playing Counter-Strike when 7.0 came out, so it was before 1.0. They'd be kids that are playing like this on the computer and they would kick my
Yeah,
ass.
yeah,
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 they
for
could
sure.
barely reach the mouse and keyboard.
I'm gonna ask the questions because I have the live chat here. So, what do you think about the competitive actual games? I think I answered that one.
Yeah.
Isra, will you join Esports Summit Bucharest in 2021? I think I'm a guest there. No, if I'm not mistaken. Overwatch and some hearts. Thank you. Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
No, but that's really good, and it's great that we have people who are watching this. Look, we discussed what the business looks like. We discussed what's it like to be a cyber athlete. Where is this? How do you see this growing? Obviously, worldwide, it's a phenomenon. It's
So I'm just gonna talk about the Romanian growth because
yeah,
this is like,
yeah.
so let's say like your regular average is like 2K viewers back in the days when we started doing this. Like that was the not the average, sorry, the peak was
Mm-hmm,
2K viewers watching esports,
mm-hmm,
the biggest competitions,
mm-hmm.
and we managed in only 1 year to get it to 12K peak viewers, which
Biggest
is
competitions? Are we talking PGL?
no, they're only the Romanian ones, obviously.
Okay. But PGL used to be a Romanian thing for a long while, right?
Yeah, I think they started from doing like regular Romanian competitions or
Regular Romanian competition. I mean, PGL goes back as back in the day. I remember
Counter Strike
PGL,
lands and
Counter
yeah,
Strike lands. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's at least 20 years old.
yeah. I think it's 20 years old. They
Yeah,
started doing like small, not small, Romanian wide events, and now they're doing like the huge competitions, production wise.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, we're talking locally. So
Yeah,
we're talking
I'm only
locally. How
talking
many?
locally right now.
Yeah. So you were mentioning how many viewers per stream, because that's very relevant to
Yeah.
sponsorships.
So in 2019 there was like 2K people
Yeah.
peak. In 2020 when we did rel with the influences and everything that our thought process, we went to 12K. And I think like right now it's like around 200K people
Wow,
actually who watched Counter-Strike this year for Romanian Esports League.
it's not bad
So
at
that's
all.
quite, yeah, that's quite impressive. And I'm really
That's
happy
quite
with what we
impressive.
managed to do.
Yeah, and you guys are a big part of this growth. How did this change during the pandemic? Because I assume that the pandemic, we recently saw an article that was saying that people are actually socializing better over computer games since the pandemic started.
I mean, Ono. I can't remember the abbreviations. In my company, we're not allowed to use abbreviations. We also have to say this is a rule that they implemented
Okay.
because we're working with really hardware and hard software. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
actually say the name so everyone understands it. I think Global Health
Mm-hmm.
Organization stated in 2019 that playing or gaming is a disease. And when the pandemic started, they
What?
stated that yeah, for sure. Like I know this 100%. And
Disease.
when the pandemic started, they said that the only way to stay sane, I mean, one of the ways to stay sane is to actually play games and video games. It's
Well,
really
but
funny.
so it's crazy, but I would assume that they're talking about e-game addiction, right? About gaming addiction.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if it's games in general, I
No,
need
no,
to
no,
get a
no,
new job.
no, not the games in general. Just the addiction of it, obviously. So I think that besides having a great English, because you
Yeah,
obviously need English to
yeah.
play most of the games, social skills are quite increased, even
Hmm.
though I think everyone still says that gamers are, I mean, people can be introvert and extrovert.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter if you're a gamer or not. That's how people are. Uh,
sure.
I think like most of the gamers are social, also in
Oh,
real life, and they're like 10 times faster than regular people, that's for sure.
hmm,
Like every
hmm,
single game is faster. They type faster, they think faster.
hmm,
They're in so many times in games in sticky situations that they have a small window to think about it. So I think this also goes in real life. Like
hmm.
I if you're going into an IT company, you know for sure who's a gamer, who's not. Like you'll
Hmm.
see one guy typing really fast, he's a gamer for sure. You see one guy who doesn't look at his keyboard while he's typing, that's a gaming for sure. He
Hmm.
talks really good English.
It's probably
um
gaming.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
gaming
no,
for
but
sure.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean because we were actually talking to Babushka 1 month ago, and it's like I think we got the stats from her. Over 30% of teachers in Western Europe, so we don't know about worldwide, but only 30% of teachers currently use gaming as a teaching device. So
Mostly gamification, not really. Yeah,
mostly
gaming.
gamification,
Yeah,
yes. And it makes sense because essentially gaming, like I mentioned earlier on, is problem solving. And if you have to do problem solving competitively in a multiplayer game where there's 11 other people who are trying to outsmart you,
yeah,
then
it's gonna
you
be a
then
challenge.
yeah, you're probably quite a smart guy and it's quite a challenge. And you probably it kind of helps develop your brain in a certain way, not to mention the fact that you're probably talking to people from across the world.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that travel the world because they were playing World of Warcraft. You're making friends. You're getting exposed to so much culture. So, like, if we still work under the assumption that gamers are guys who play from their basements and never go out, and they're drooling over that's retarded. That's like 19th century, 20th century. This is the 21st century. So yeah, games are changing everything. Like Babushka was mentioning that they are on Twitch. They are gathering money for charities. You guys did a charity, right? You
We did a lot
recently
of charities. Yeah.
did a bunch of charities. So how much how do you do charity work for through games?
So it started like a funny thing. I think the first charity that I did was obviously through gaming. I
Hmm.
won like some prizes that I didn't really need, like keyboard, mouse, peripherals, whatever that I didn't need because I had the best out of the best. And instead of selling them on websites, or I didn't care about. I still don't care about money.
Hmm.
I actually donated them to a poor couple of kids, and I actually also donated my computer because
Wow.
I'm really emotional as a person,
Wow.
and that was the first time when I did it. And now that I could have done more, I actually said okay, it's my birthday. I'm gonna do a charity stream, and I'm gonna do like weird challenges that people can donate, and I'm gonna raise some money. And that was I thought like I'm gonna raise like 500 euros or I don't know, something like that. But I managed to raise in 2 hours like 2k euros, and I was like, holy shit, I did a lot. So then I started thinking that maybe I can change some lives or help changing some lives. And we started doing like game marathon events called back in the days with hospice. We did like a 12-hour stream with a lot of activities, a lot of events and so on. And I think back then we raised like 15k euros, which was quite good for 2018 or 2019. And afterwards, I still did my birthday every day. I mean, every year birthday charity stream.
Yeah.
I had some crazy challenges. I don't think I'm gonna do it this year though.
Why not?
Because at 15 euros, I have to drink one shot, and trust me, there are a lot of shots.
That's awesome.
Oh my god! Yeah, I remember every single. And the funny part is, last year when I did it, I didn't make it to the cake. Like I went straight to bed after the stream. I raised 2k euros and I went to bed.
You went to bed. That was it.
For sure. And also at 10 euros, I had to do push-ups. So imagine shots and push-ups.
Wow, that's quite a combination.
And people are obviously donating the 15 or the 10. They weren't donating more or less. They wanted the shot or the push-up. I don't know if I'm gonna do it this year. I'm still thinking about it. I haven't actually didn't drink a lot at all in the past few months. So I'm not ready to drink that much. And the biggest event, sorry, I have to continue this.
Keep going.
We also went now 1 year ago, with the gaming marathon, which involved a lot more streamers than 12 hours. We did like 24-hour stream. We raised around 26k euros, which is better than before. And our biggest charity event was Hope, which involved not only gaming influencers, but regular influencers from Romania, like the biggest names in Romania. And we managed to raise in 2 hours 30k euros, which was probably the biggest event in Romania for this year at least. We had 48k viewers live, and we managed to get a lot of money for a good cause.
Well, that is amazing, and it's important, right? Because everything is moving to digital. Everything is moving into streaming. Everything, and I think that one important factor is, and people are still not, or maybe the big guys are understanding this, but there's a lot of money in gaming specifically. I mean, only if you consider the fact that getting a good rig to play on is quite a big investment. There's a lot of money in the consumer market. One thing that I wanted to touch on is the international. That's 30 million. Generally, that's probably the biggest tournament happening right now. That's worldwide. What is it like is there big discrepancies between Europe and US specifically, or worldwide? How much, what are the big markets right now for esports?
I think there's a huge discrepancy right now between US and Europe. At least salary wise, the salaries are a lot better for esports players in US. There was one guy that leaked the salaries from LCS, which is the biggest league in League of Legends. And they said that people are earning between 200k a year to 800k a year, dollars, obviously. So that's I think that's like 60% more than in Europe.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot. And overall, you asked me about the biggest prize pool and haven't responded. Sorry about that, but I remember it's actually 21 million euros, which is the international event.
This is the international event. Yes.
Actually, it was 23. Sorry, 23.
And that goes. So the prize pool essentially that's split between five players.
It depends on the contracts. Obviously, they're not gonna win the 21, but so basically how the ecosystem works is you have a organization that's paying you monthly salary, and they're getting like some money from how can I say, from the prize pool. I don't know how much, but obviously they're gonna get some money from the prize, because they also have to pay the graphic designer, the managers, the marketing directors, and so on.
Yeah, so the international is a very interesting thing. I was talking to my friend the other day, and he was mentioning that a lot of the prize pool from the international comes from Valve, and Valve are actually dedicating a part of the money that they're making from their in-game economy. So people who are creating
I'm gonna explain
assets
it a
models.
lot better.
Yeah.
So Valve is like giving every year 1 million,
Okay.
and it's creating an in-game item which is called the compendium,
Mm-hmm.
and people are buying that compendium, and 20% of the value of the compendium is going into this prize pool. 80% goes to Valve.
Wow.
So
80%.
imagine how much compendiums are getting bought. I'm not gonna do the math, but
That's huge.
just think about it. So 20% goes into the prize pool, which is 22 million, and the rest of 80% goes to Valve. But obviously, you have costs to host the event, you have costs to
Sure.
host the players, and so on. I'm not
Sure,
gonna do
but
the math because it scares me, but it's a lot of money.
sure, but we're not counting. It's a lot of money, and we're not counting viewers. We're not counting
Yeah,
sponsorships. We're not counting the free publicity. Like, there's a lot of benefit in doing in the
obviously,
international.
yeah.
Yeah, not only for the players. It's good for everyone. It's good for the company. It's good for the market. It's great for everyone. Man, we're out of time, and we just started talking. I was hoping that yeah, we could talk for a lot more. Someone's asking, will you join the esports summit? Did you answer this one already?
Yeah, I did. And he also said
Yeah.
hello to you in private.
Woo! All right. This is amazing. We should do a second one just because we only got through half of the stuff that I wanted to talk
I'm
to you.
sorry, I talk a lot, no?
That's awesome. I mean, there's so much good insight in what you're mentioning on a subject that is fairly unknown. So you're evangelizing e-gaming, which is huge. We're trying over here at Amber, we're trying to evangelize game development because it's super important. The only way that the industry is going to grow, and the only way that we as a society are going to grow, is if we get high-tech jobs here. So we are playing an active role in growing the industry, and you guys are doing kind of the same thing in e-gaming, which is great. It's a cultural change that everyone needs to be part of. This is the way we're going to get better.
Yeah, I think I mean, for me it's really fun what we're doing. I guess you're having fun as well, which is really good. And the way we're changing this is like natural, because we're not forcing anything. We're just showing people what's good. I'm sorry, I'm talking like a London guy, really plastic, but when you're talking with passion, you just say what comes from your mind and from your mouth, and I think that's the best way to talk natural and to actually be a natural person. So I'm not talking limited or whatever. I'm just saying what I think is best, or what I think is good for other people to hear.
Yeah, look,
What
man,
is my personal experience.
Just find something, do it with passion, and let it kill you, and you're gonna have fun doing it. It's so important. There's so many people out there that work 9 to 5 jobs that are essentially killing them on the inside, sometimes on the outside as well. And we get to make games, and we get to play games, and that is fucking amazing. You gotta love the 21st century. Yeah, we should end on that. Ang, thank you
Wait,
very
there's
much.
one more question.
Yes, we have one more question.
I want to
and
answer
then
all
we
the
can
questions.
stop.
Yeah. There's a podcast on Minecraft Education
Yeah.
edition by Participate in one of the episodes, and invited speaker who teaches middle school, who argues that Twitch is the current generation that TV has to, or what do you think about that? Okay, so I'm gonna end by saying this. Netflix said that their biggest competitor is Fortnite. Not Hulu, not whatever streaming. So this actually answers the question in a way, but I'm obviously gonna answer it. I think that I don't think, sorry, I know for sure, because I watched a study from Newzoo that 80% of the gamers don't watch television or don't have a television at home that they use.
Yeah.
So yeah, Twitch is the new TV.
Because I want to add something.
Yeah, Twitch is the new TV for young people, and obviously you can get some good things from there or some bad things from there, because you even get bad things from television as well. Like, I'm not gonna, if you watch Romanian show, let's say Access Direct, you're not gonna learn anything, or your kid's not gonna learn anything. That's 100% off. Or I'm not gonna argue with the TV, and it's a really bad argument. I'm not gonna say it, but there are a lot of shows in Romania that are really bad on TV,
Really bad.
and the news are sometimes so cringe. Like, to be honest, like I'm gonna discuss about something. So there was one television in Romania that asked us Nexus to come and shoot something in Romania at Nexus Indiana Cafe. I said, sure, you can come shoot. It's no problem. And then I opened the TV to watch the material, and they said that young kid killed himself while playing video games. And then there were images of Nexus there, and I was like, why do you use Nexus images to talk about that news? And they said that they only wanted for this material, and ever since then I didn't open the TV and didn't let anyone film in Nexus, because that was the worst thing I saw.
I don't think anyone watches TV anymore. I mean, look, and this kind of ties into the Netflix thing as well. So number one, TV is dying. Everyone knows this. Everyone is moving on YouTube. Like, I do this, man. I just realized that I'm like, you know how we used to zap on TV? Right now I zap on YouTube, because I go from link to link to link to link. I haven't owned a TV in, I think, 7 years. I haven't watched.
You have one in your back, man.
Right? So TV is dying. Like, no one should watch those guys anyway. They're 20th century. But there's an important thing, and this is why it's dying. I was looking at a study of how big the market is. So 2020, the market for gaming in general, so just selling games. This does not imply gaming, so chairs, TVs, hardware. It's just mass market software. Mass market software for games was 100 billion. That is when the TV and music industry was 60. So there were 60 combined. Well, movie and music. Now, about 60% of the movie industry was box office, and we all know what happened to box office when the pandemic started. Truth be told, yes, there's some outliers like Netflix is making a ton of money through digital streaming, but truth be told, like they are still in an industry that is not moving as fast as gaming and game development. It only makes sense that they look at games as their competitor. It only makes sense. I mean, these are the guys who they want to feed. They just recently announced that they're gonna be going into gaming. They're probably gonna have their own game distribution platform. So I'm not surprised that they're going after this. And while everyone in the mass market massive multiplayer is talking about the metaverse, we know what Epic wants to do with the metaverse. Everyone's reading about it. It's made the news twice. It's starting to make Elon Musk, his theory about we're living in a simulation. Well, it no longer sounds that crazy, right? It's starting to look like Ready Player One could happen every 20 years from now. But fantasy aside, it only makes sense for these guys to be scared and to be going after, they have to get into the streaming space and they have to get into the gaming space, because otherwise they're dying.
Yeah, I think they're trying. They are starting to place their shows online. Even in Romania, I saw a lot of not famous, Survivor, whatever, being played online. Also, they're also getting regular influences on the shows right now, because they know something is going down and they need to change something. So big ups for them, and I wish the best of luck to continue with the TV. But I think I have the same conclusion as you, to be honest.
Yeah. We should end on that. TV is dying. Games are the future. We should end on that. Ang, thank you. It's been great.
Thank you as well. It was really fun.
I'll talk to you again.
Yeah.